Last time we studied microwave spectroscopy. Microwave. In which we measure the bond length. Today we are going to study IR spectroscopy. The spectrum which are shown in the first page of handout is the IR spectrum of HCl in liquid phase. As you can see, there's a single peak in HCl. The reason that we can observe absorption peak in liquid IR spectrum is that HCl can vibrate. When the frequency of HCl is equal to the frequency of light, resonance occurs. So the energy of light is transferred to the molecule, so we can observe the absorption peak. So given the IR spectrum, we can measure the vibrational frequency of HCl, and according to physics, the vibrational frequency are related to the False constant of the molecule. So when we measure the vibrational frequency in the IR spectrum, we can measure the False constant. So in microwave spectroscopy, we measure the rotational constant. From rotational constant, we can estimate bond length. In IR spectroscopy, we can measure vibrational frequency. From the vibrational frequency, we can measure the False constant. Okay. Now I can explain the absorption peak in terms of quantum mechanics. According to quantum mechanics, vibrational energy are quantized, as we studied long time ago. This is the vibrational energy of the harmonic oscillator. Here V is the quantum number. It starts from 0, 1, 2, blah, 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 blah. Mu is the vibrational frequency, which is equal to 1 over 2 pi k over mu. So when you draw the vibration energy, quantized vibration energy looks like this. When V equals 0, it is 1 over 2 h nu. When V equals 1, the vibration energy is 3 over 2 h nu. When V equals 2, vibration energy 5 over 2 h nu. As with the energy gap between two adjacent level is h nu. This is also h nu. As with rotational spectroscopy, in IR spectroscopy, we have selection rules. According to quantum mechanics, the selection rule for IR spectroscopy is delta V equal plus minus 1. So only this transition is allowed transition. This transition is allowed transition. But this transition is forbidden transition because this transition violates selection rules. Only this transition is allowed transition in IR spectroscopy. So we can only observe this peak. The peak position of this one is h nu. Peak position of this peak is also h nu. So we only observe single peak in IR spectroscopy. Now let's move on. So in the next page, we observe IR spectrum of various molecules, HF, HCl, HBr, HI. The visual spectrum looks like this. This is HF, HCl, HBr, HI. So please note that this is the direction of wavelength, frequency. So the molecule vibrational frequency of HF is larger than the HCl, HBr, and HI. So the vibrational frequency of HF is much larger than the HCl and HBr, HI. When you calculate the force constant, also the force constant of HF is larger than the HCl, HBr, and HI. So we can say that bond strength of HF is much larger than the HCl, HBr, HI. So given IR spectrum, we can estimate the bond strength of each molecule. So this is the important information we can obtain from IR spectroscopy. From IR spectroscopy, we can estimate the bond strength. Now, but when you take a close look at the IR spectrum in liquid phase, this is not a single peak. When you take a close look at this one, it is composed of two bands. It is not a single peak. It is composed of two bands. This is the IR spectrum of HCl in liquid phase. When you measure the IR spectrum of HCl in gas phase, it looks like this. This one, IR spectrum of HCl gas phase. When you zoom in this part, this one looks like this. So this branch is called P branch. This part is called R branch. So this part corresponds to P branch. This part corresponds to R branch. There are three notable features we are going to study. The first one is that the band consists of series of evenly spaced peaks. The peak-to-peak distance, spacing between two adjacent peaks, is almost same. The distance is almost same. This is the first features. Second feature is that peak at the center is missing. There are no peak in the center. This is second feature. Third feature is that when you take a close look at this peak, each peak, this is not a single peak. This is a doublet. Each individual peak is actually doublet. So there are three important features we are going to study now. The reason that each individual peak is doublet is straightforward. When you purchase HCl, the sample are actually mixture of two molecules, H35Cl, H37Cl. Normal sample are mixture of these two compounds, and the vibrational frequency of these two molecules are different. So when you measure the IR spectrum of HCl, actually the spectrum is a superposition of these two different molecules. So we have two peaks. It's called doublet. So one peak corresponds to H35Cl, the other is H37Cl. So the feature 3 is straightforward. An important point is 1 and 2. Why? The peak-to-peak distance is regularly spaced. Second, why? The peak at the center is missing. This is the main topic of today's lecture. as I said, HCl vibrate. So according to quantum mechanics, the vibrational energy is V plus 1 over 2 H nu. But at the same time, the molecule rotates. So actually, the molecules are vibrating and rotating simultaneously. So the total energy of this molecule is the sum of vibrational energy and rotational energy. Rotational energy is V J 3 plus 1. This is the total energy of the molecule, which is rotating and vibrating simultaneously. So we need two quantum numbers to specify the quantum state of the molecule. V J. We need two quantum numbers. This one is vibrational quantum number. This is rotational quantum number. Now I'm going to build up energy level diagram of this molecule, of this energy. So first, here, when the quantum number is V equals 0 and J equals 0, what is the energy of this molecule? It is 1 over 2 H nu over plus 0. Now, what is the energy of the molecule when V equals 1, J equals 0? So according to this formula, the energy of this molecule is 3 over 2 H nu plus 0. First point that, as I said before, this is the vibrational frequency. This is the rotational constant. In general, H nu is much larger than rotational constant. General is general. So vibrational spacing is much larger than the rotational spacing. It's a generally accepted value. So anyway, this is the energy gap is H nu. Now, what is the energy when the molecular quantum state is V equals 0 and J equals 1? According to this formula, the energy of this quantum state is 1 over 2 H nu plus 1, 2, so 2B. What is the energy of the V equals 0, J equals 2? It is 1 over 2 H nu plus 6B. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Similarly, what is the energy of this quantum state? V equals 1, J equals 1. It is 3 over 2 H nu over 2B. What is the energy of this state? V equals 1, J equals 2. It is 3 over 2 H nu over 6B. Blah, 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 blah. So the vibrational spacing is much larger than the rotational spacing. Okay. So this is the energy level diagram of the molecule, which is rotating and vibrating simultaneously. With this energy level setup, I'm going to shine IR radiation. So the molecule absorbs IR photon and make a transition from one state to another state. But all transition is not allowed. Only transition that satisfy selection rule is only allowed. In quantum mechanics, the selection rule for IR spectroscopy is this. Delta V equals plus minus 1, delta J equals plus minus 1. Only this transition, that satisfy this selection rule is allowed. Now, this transition is allowed or forbidden. This transition goes from v equal 0 to v equal 1. So first condition satisfied, but second condition is not satisfied because the initial state is j equal 0, final state is also j equal 0. So this transition corresponds to j equal 0. So this transition violates selection rule. So this transition is forbidden transition. So this transition is not shown in IR spectrum, but I'm going to make this transition as a reference point. This transition is not shown because this transition violates selection rule, but I'm going to make this transition as a reference point. And this peak, the position of this peak corresponds to this, the gap is in h nu. So this is the reference point. This peak is not shown. This peak corresponds to this transition. This transition violates selection rule, so this peak is not shown. But I will make this point as a reference point. So this peak is not shown. But this transition is a reference. But this transition is allowed transition because it starts from j equal 0 from to j equal 1. So delta j equal plus 1. So this transition satisfies this selection rule. So this transition is shown. Now what is the peak position of this peak? Now compare the length of this arrow with this arrow. What is the length of this one? It is 2b. So length of this arrow is larger by 2b compared to this reference point. So the peak position of this one is 2b to the right of this peak. Peak position of this one is here, which is 2b to the right to the reference point. Now, second allowed transition is this one. This one comes from j equal 1 to j equal 2. This is allowed transition. Now I'm going to compare the length of this arrow with this arrow. The head of this arrow larger than OB. Shorter than 2b, right? When you compare the length of this arrow with this transition, the head is larger than 4b, bottom is shorter than 2b. So the length of this one is that increases 2b. So the peak position of this arrow, this transition, is again 2b to the right of this peak. So this transition, the peak position of this transition is to the 2b to the right from this peak. Okay. Similarly, the successive peak appears 2b to the right further. And this peak all the peak in this region corresponds to delta j equal plus 1 peak. The other transition which belongs to delta j equal plus 1 appears here. This peak, collection of this peak is called R branch. And there are allowed transition which belongs to delta j equal minus 1 also. Now, this peak is allowed the transition. Why? It starts from j equal 1 to j equal 0. So this transition corresponds to delta j equal minus 1. So this transition is allowed transition. So this peak is shorter by 2b compared to the reference point. So the peak position of this peak is to the left of the reference point. 2b left to the reference point. And this peak is also allowed to transition. It starts from j equal 2, j equal 1. Now the head is larger than 2b, bottom is shorter by 4b. So that decrease by 2b. So peak position of this one is 2b left to the this peak. So this peak corresponds to here. So all the peak here delta j equal minus 1 corresponds to here. All the peak corresponds to delta j equal minus 1. So the collection of these peaks are called P branch. This one is not shown. This one is called Q branch. So PQI branch. P branch refers to the transition where delta j equal minus 1. Q branch refers to the transition where delta j equal 0 transition, which is not shown in IR spectroscopy. P branch refers to the transition where delta j equal plus 1. And as you can study, the peak-to-peak distance corresponds to 2b. And this position, which is not shown in IR spectroscopy, corresponds to h nu. So, given IR spectrum, we can determine two constants, b and nu. How do you determine b? From the peak-to-peak distance. The nu corresponds to this position. This position is not shown, but you can estimate the position of this peak because this position is average position of these neighboring two peaks. So in this way, you can estimate the vibrational frequency. So finally, when you measure the IR spectrum, the IR spectrum looks like this. This is the typical IR spectrum. So from this spectrum, you can estimate rotational constant. And when you take the average of these two peaks, it corresponds to h nu. So you can also determine vibrational frequency. So rotational constant and vibrational frequency can be determined from the IR spectrum. And B is equal to h bar square over 2i 2 nu I square. So given B, you can determine bone distance R. And nu is equal to 1 over 2 pi k over u. So given vibrational frequency, you can determine force constant. So in IR spectroscopy, we can simultaneously determine bone distance and force constant. Okay. Now, as with microwave spectroscopy, all the molecule does not absorb IR. As I said before, for the molecule to be microwave active, the molecule must have permanent dipole moment. For the molecule to be IR active, the molecule must have permanent dipole moment. Only molecule who has permanent dipole moment can absorb microwave. Similarly, for the molecule to be IR active, the dipole moment of the molecule must change. dipole moment must change during vibration. So HCl can absorb IR because, as you know, in HCl, H carries partial positive charge, Cl carries partial negative charge. Then dipole moment is defined as to be QR. And here Q is equal to delta E. When HCl molecule vibrate, R changes. R changes. Delta E is not equal to 0. So when the molecule vibrate, R changes. So dipole moment also changes. So HCl molecule satisfy this condition. So HCl can absorb IR radiation. But what happens to this molecule? This molecule has no dipole moment. So in this case, Q equals 0 for N2O2. So even though the molecule vibrate, R changes, dipole moment does not change. So this molecule does not absorb IR. So this molecule is IR inactive. Now consider CO2 molecule. CO2 molecule is a little bit confused, complicated, a little involved. Now first question is this molecule microwave active? This molecule does not have dipole moment. So this molecule is microwave inactive. Because this molecule does not have permanent dipole moment. And this molecule is IR active. In contrast, diatomic molecule, this molecule is triatomic molecule. There are 3 different vibrational modes in CO2. The first vibrational mode is symmetric stretching. In symmetric stretching, this bone stretches simultaneously. This vibrational mode is symmetric stretching. And second vibrational mode is anti-symmetric stretching. In this case, this CO bone stretch, but at the same time, this CO bone compress. This vibrational mode is asymmetric stretching. And second vibrational mode is called bending. In this case, carbon atom moves in upward, while oxygen atoms move downward. This vibrational mode is bending. When the molecule vibrates in symmetric stretching mode, dipole moment remains 0 all the time, because the length of this CO bond is exactly equal to the length of this CO bond in symmetric stretching. So the dipole moment of left CO bond is exactly cancel the dipole moment of the CO bond on the right. So when the molecule is in the symmetric stretching vibrational mode, dipole moment exactly 0 all the time. So this vibrational mode is IR inactive. But in the asymmetric stretching mode, in this case, CO bond stretch, but the CO bond compress on the right. So the length of CO bond is larger on the left, larger than the CO bond strength on the bond length on the right. So the dipole moment does not exactly cancel. So the dipole moment change in this case. So asymmetric stretching mode, IR active mode. Because when the molecule vibrates in asymmetric stretching mode, dipole moment changes. Because the dipole moment on the left does not exactly cancel the dipole moment on the right. Now, in bending mode, molecule during vibration looks like this. So the dipole moment here looks like this. So the two dipole moment oriented in different direction. So the dipole moment in the exist on the perpendicular to the molecule. So the dipole moment perpendicular to the molecule exists. So when the molecule vibrates, the dipole moment perpendicular to the molecular axis changes. So in this case, IR active. In summary, for carbon dioxide, there are three types of vibrational mode: symmetric stretching, anti-symmetric stretching, and bending. There are three types of vibration. The vibrational frequencies are all different, but this mode is not shown in IR because in this vibrational mode, dipole moment does not change. So this mode is IR inactive, but asymmetric stretching mode, bending mode, dipole moment change during vibration. So we can observe two peaks in the CO2. So okay, I skip one spectrum. I'm sorry. So I skip IR spectrum air. When you measure the IR spectrum of air, first question, the main component of air is N2, O2, argon, blah blah blah. But when you measure the IR spectrum of air, major component in IR spectrum is H2O, CO2. Why? As I said before, these two molecules is IR inactive because the dipole moment does not change when the molecule vibrates. So this molecule is not shown in IR spectrum. And this one is not a molecule. It's a monatomic gas. So this atom does not have vibrational mode. So this one is also not shown in IR. So this component is the main spectrum which are shown in IR spectroscopy. I will show you the IR spectrum next class. So summary. As I said earlier, for the molecule to be microwave active, the permanent dipole moment exists. And for the molecule to be IR active, dipole moment changes. During vibration. Now I'm going to restate this absorption condition in more unified way. The key point is that dipole moment. The dipole moment mu is actually vector quantity. As you know, vector quantity dipole moment has magnitude and direction. when the molecule has permanent dipole moment and the molecule rotating, the dipole moment changes. The direction of dipole moment change, actually. So when the molecule has dipole moment and the molecule rotate, it means that the direction of dipole moment change. This one change during rotation. The magnitude of dipole moment does not change in this case. So the absorption condition for microwave can be restated in the following way. For the microwave active, the direction of dipole moment must change for the molecule to be microwave active. And the HCl molecule vibrate, the direction of dipole moment does not change, but the amplitude of or magnitude of dipole moment change. So we can say that for the molecule to be IR active, the magnitude of dipole moment must change during vibration. Magnitude of dipole moment must change during vibration. This is the absorption condition for IR. This is our summary. Now finally, this spectrum. This is a IR spectrum in IR spectrum HCl in gas phase, actually recorded in our school's spectroscopy lab in Changjogang. So with this IR spectrum, as I said before, this spectrum is a superposition of 35 Cl and 37 Cl. So you can see the peak are doublet. Each peak are composed of two peaks. So my question is that, given this IR spectrum, estimate of force constant K and bond distance R of this molecule. This is the IR spectrum. So solution is given already. So give it a try now. This is the solution. Take a reference.